Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have already discussed about that things with you, how can manage your transition and the animation, right? So now friend, from to this video, I want to design our e-commerce site. So let's do that work. For doing this, there is the index, we don't need this. I close it, the router. Also here I have already loaded that home page. So also we don't need this. So if you want to do that work, first of all, let's work with I have already created some of the component for the home. If you go to that components, and that is our child component, right? And that is our pages, that is our main parent component. So into the child component, so all that there is all that component. So together all that component will actually develop our home page. Like first of all, that is one of the I have already created one of the component as a feature product, right? So now for the feature product, that is one of the JSX file. So now I want to create this component. So first of all, I want to create one of the class based component. So I have already installed some of the extension. I have already discussed about that things with you. If you go to that extension and to the extension, there is a ES7. Okay, make that sure you install it. So when you install, it will be helpful. Right now, if you write down as a RCE, then automatically it will be suggested some of the code for you. Like there is a RCE. You can see our class based component is now successfully created. So that is our class based component. Perfect. So our component name as a feature product, which is totally fine. And here they have some of the div. So now I want to remove this one. I want to remove this div. Here I want to use that as a figment. So if you write down as a figment, you can see it's automatically suggested that figment. So that is our figment. So when you load this figment, automatically that is our component, it should be load from to the React. Okay, so you can see automatically our figment is available in here. And then I want to load one of the container. If you go to that React Bootstrap site, so the React Bootstrap, if you go to that as a component, and there is a getting started. So from to the getting started, as I told you before friends, so if you go to that layouts, so into the layout, right, you can see that is a one column. Okay, as I told you, if you already know a little bit that HTML, I hope at that point you already know that HTML and CSS. So in HTML, we take some of the table, and into this table area, we add some of the TR and the TD. So in React, that is a React Bootstrap, right? So into the React Bootstrap, first of all, we have to take one of the container and container fluid. Fluid means that will be actually total white. Okay, so I will also show you that things. Like first of all, there is a container, and then there is a row. So in HTML, we are using as a TR. So in React Bootstrap, that will be as a row, and then that is a column. So in HTML, we add that column with the TD. So now that will be in React, that will be as a column. Okay, I show you. Like you can see, there is one row, and there is only one column. And if you go there, you can see there is a one row, and there is a two columns. So there is a one column, and there is another column. So for the reasons, it's showing as a one column, and there is another column. Okay, and also you can see there is another three column. So that means the 1, 2, and then 3. Perfect. So here also I want to load it. First of all, I want to load that container into the figment area. Into the figment area, I want to load that container. So that is a container. Contain. It's not suggested, so better I want to take it. Okay, I want to take it from to this position. That will be as a container. I want to load this container, and also after that I want to finish it. Okay, and also when you use that container, we have to import this container. Like here, if you go, it should be also we have to load it. So that will be from our React Bootstrap. Okay, so here. There is actually a container directly. There is a row. So that is individual, all the things. So right now I want to better take that things from here. So I want to import, and then the first of all I want to add all the things that, like first of all, that will be as a container. Why it's not actually giving me any suggestion? There is a container, so there is a container, and also into the container area I want to take another row. So that will be as a row. Okay, row. So I want to take that row, and into this row area I want to take another column. So that will be as a column. Okay, so I take another column, so that will be as a column. Perfect. First of all, here also you have to load this container. We have to load this row, and then also we have to load the column. With this comma, we have to add it. So that will be comes from, okay, so here we have to add that as a from. That will be comes from that React Bootstrap. So I make it as a React, and then there is a React Bootstrap. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you, because that is all that component that should be comes from the React Bootstrap. There's a container, and then the row, and then the column. Okay, so that is actually the column. Perfect. So now in our container area, into this container area, first of all, I want to take one of the name. Okay, so here better I want to take one of the div. I take one of the div, and here I close this div, and into this div area I want to add one of the h2 tag. Okay, I name it as the h2. So that is one of the h2 tag. I close this. See, that will be one of the feature product. Okay, I name it as a feature, the feature product. So this type of one of the name that will be display. And also after that I want to take one of the p tag. That means one of the paragraph tag. So into the paragraph tag I name it as a sum of our exclusive collection. Okay, collection you may like. So this type of one of the text I want to add it in here. That is one of the feature product, and there is a p tag. As I told you friend, I don't want to actually share all that CSS code. I have already write down some of the CSS code. So now I want to apply the CSS code in here. Like there is a feature product. So for the feature product here, I want to add some of the class. Like here I name one of the class as a class name. For the class name, I have already created some of the class. So as I told you, after every lecture you will get all that step-by-step code. So I hope it's really very easy to use. So if you go to the typo CSS, here I have already write down some of the CSS. If you go to that card, so I have also created some of the CSS. Okay, you can say I have already created some of the CSS as a section title h2, and then section title h2 before and then after. Okay, so after that before and after that will be one of the line. So better I want to copy all that code. Okay, I copy all that our card.css. I copy it. I have already created all the CSS. If you go to that CSS, and there is a card.css, so I simply paste it. Okay, so now I want to actually call our this this section, that means the section title, this class I want to call. I copy it, and now in our feature product there is a class name. I name it as a section title. Okay, so that will be our section title, and the feature product, and that is our name. First of all, I want to load this page. Okay, that means this feature product page, if I want to check it in our parent, that means in our page, and that is our home page. So right now our this page is loading, right? If you go, you can see our right now our this page is now our home page. So I want to load our this component as a features product component in here, right friends? So now it's pretty easy. So I want to use that as a features. Okay, that is a features product. You can see it's also suggested as a, that will be comes from the src component home and the feature product. So now I simply load it, automatically that will be included. That means it will be inputted that feature product from to the components home and the feature product. That means that is our component and the home, and that is our feature product, right? So now this page should be loaded. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all. Okay, now if you go to your home page, and now I want to refresh it. So now you can see friend, it's now showing as a feature product, and also showing as a sum of our exclusive collection you may like. Okay, so here you can see that is some of the CSS. So as I told you, I hope at that point you already know a little bit the CSS. So that is very common code. You can see that is very common code as a CSS section. I take another class as a center for display. I make it as a block. Margin top left I make it as a auto. Margin right I make it as a auto. So for the section title, this class I call it. So here they have some of the font size, they have some of the font weight, there is a position, the display inline block, and there is a margin. So after that and before, you can see before and then after, they have some of the line. I am actually write down these two of this CSS code as a section title h2 before. So before, that is actually one of the command line is a position top left wide, the height. If you want to increase that height, you can increase it. This content position, there is a background color, so there is a background color, and the section title after. Okay, so after that, that will be also another line. So better first of all I want to change this background color. I have already added some of the background color maybe into the typo CSS. Not the typo. If you go to that custom, you can see for the custom I'm actually using the background color as this one. So right now I want to change it. I make it as a white. Okay, I make it as a pure white, so that will be as a pure white color. Right now if you click the save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see it's not perfect. So now I want to make it into the center position. So if you want to add that as a center, that is in our feature product, right? So into the feature product, and that is our section title, right? So into the section title I want to make it as another class as a text. Okay, text center. So I make it as a text center, and also I want to add some of the margin bottom. Okay, margin and then bottom I want to use it as a 55. So that means after that will be actually get some of the spaces. So I make it as a 55. That will be our margin bottom, which is totally fine, and that is our container, right? So into the container I want to add another class for make it as a center position. I make it as a class name. I want to use it as a text center. Okay, so that will be another text center, and here I want to make it as a fluid ID. A fluid ID will be as I make it as a true. So when you use that as a fluid ID, so automatically that will be actually full wide. Okay, that will be actually full wide. So for the reasons here I make it as a fluid as a true. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now if you go now click as a refresh, yes, you can see friend, it's now perfectly into the center position. And also I have created another typography. So if you go to the typo CSS, you can see there is a section title. For the section title I use some of the font family as a robot. I have already loaded this font. Remember, I have already loaded this font. If you want to check it again, if you go to the CSS, not the CSS, if you go to that index, right? So into the index HTML, that is in our public. Maybe if you go to the public, into the public there is index HTML. So into the index HTML here I have loaded the font. What exactly it is, not that here. Into the CSS, maybe into the custom, you can see into the custom I have already loaded that Montserrat one of the font, and also the Roboto, right? So this is the Roboto font. I want to use it. So for the reasons here in our this card, so not that card, in our, if you go to that typo, so into the typo CSS here I want to add it. So if you want to do like here for the typo, I copy everything. So it's very basic. You can see there is section title, there is a section subtitle, the product name card. So that is one of the font size, there is on the font color, font size, font family, and then font weight. So that's all. So now I copy everything, and now in our this typo CSS here I paste it. Okay, I paste it. So now if you click as a save all, and now I want to check it as a refresh. Perfect. You can see it's successfully updated. That means automatically now it's get that our font size. So that is one of the class as a section title. So into the section title I add one of the margin top as a 50%. You can see that automatically it's now getting some of the 50% margin top, and also for the margin bottom I make it as a 50%. That means 50 pixels. So after that will be also one of the margin bottom, and then the color I use that one of the deep blue color. Font size will be as a 20 pixel. The font family, so there is our font family. I have already loaded this font family in our custom. If you go to that custom, I have already loaded this font family. Automatically it will be get it, right? Perfect. And then there is a font weight. So for the font family I have also used some of the font weight. You can see there is a 400, the 600, and for the Roboto I take it as a 300, 400, and 700. So as I told you friend, it's very basic. I hope you know that CSS and the HTML code. So for the reasons here I don't want to write down this CSS code. Is very much basic, some of the CSS code, right? So there is very basic CSS code. So here I have already, for the reasons I have already actually created all that CSS. So now we are actually using it. Okay, so into the feature product you can see there is a section title. So automatically now it's getting our this class as in our there is a typo. Into the typo there is actually a section title, and here I'm actually using it. So automatically it's now getting it, getting this class. So that is actually our class name as a section title. I make it as a center position. Everything is great, right? Everything is looking great. Perfect. So now friend, here I want to load one of the card. Okay, here I want to load one of the card, and into the card position I want to use some of the images. I want to use some of the product title and the product price. So how can do that work? But I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.